Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Now if you listen, you're going to hear a lovely, melodic, rhapsodic main theme to a movie, which is purely a deceptive piece of music which will lull you into like, oh, what a tranquil, beautiful, the sea, the rocks, a picturesque lighthouse. Oh, maybe a romance in the blooming. No, you ain't going to get any of that. You're going to get beheadings. You're going to get capuchin monkeys being skinned. You're going to get a man being flayed alive. You're going to get all sorts of torture, humiliation, and degradation. And this film rocked the boat, literally. Back in 1971 when it first came out, produced by Ilya and Alexander Solkind, Superman, of course. And also exec produced by Kirk Douglas, superstar Kirk Spartacus Douglas, who had already done a Jules Verne adaptation with 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. For this is another Jules Verne story, The Light at the Edge of the World. And it was published only posthumously. Jules Verne had died and it came out after his death. And then of course, Kirk Douglas was like, well, we had great success with Disney and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Well, let's get another one. Let's launch another Jules Verne saga. This one, much darker. But listen to this. I'll turn up a little bit. This is the score by Piero Piccioni. And because this film is a European, Spanish, French financing, and a British director. An America's there because it's got massive American stars in it as well. Well, two American stars, Kirk Douglas and Samantha Eggar. And an adaptation of Jules Verne's kind of shocking, kind of brutal story. A little bit of a departure for him, to be perfectly honest. The pirates in this are kind of nasty. Oh, pirates are not the friendliest of people, you know. But they do some beastly things. And the whole crux of it is a little island archipelago by Cape Horn. And like a lighthouse is there. A lighthouse like that one there. Like that one there. Cape Horn. You know, ferocious storms, rocky, bloody bays and coves. Don't get lured in there. So this is lighthouse there is to keep ships away from the rocky bits and bobs. But the pirates realise that, hang on, that's great. If we can extinguish that light and put a fake lighthouse, we can lure them on the rocks and we can wreck them, kill all the crew and passengers, and take all the stuff, all the nicey bits, the shiny, you know, tranklements. Take all of that and we're going to be rich beyond belief. And that is the conceit of this story. And of course, it's based in historical stuff because wreckers did exist. So, the story is Kirk Douglas plays assistant lighthouse man or lighthouse keeper Will Denton, and he's a veteran of the California gold rush. And look, spoilers ahead. I'm going to do nothing but spoil this movie completely. He's had a disastrous time in California. He fell in love with his mate's wife-to-be. He finds gold, and of course they make a bit of a fortune. You see this in flashback, and this is why he's on this little rocky crag in the middle of nowhere. That's why he's gone out there, and they find gold. They make a fortune. He buys a saloon. It's all very Sergio Leone sort of style. And but his mate, or rather the girl he fancies, marries this bastard who's a card shark, you know, and a bit of a crook. You know, he's a scoundrel. And although Kirk Douglas kind of likes this guy, but he loves the girl he's married, and he's like, yeah, but, and then the guy causes trouble, and he has to pull a pistol on him and put him away. And of course, the girl he loves, who's married to this bastard, now hates him. So he turns his back on the world and goes out to the middle of, well, the back of beyond, the edge of the world, and becomes an assistant lighthouse keeper with Captain Moritz, played by the great Fernando Rey, and Felipe, played by, hang on a minute, Felipe Massimo Ranieri. As you can tell, it's a very Italian and Spanish movie. Most of the cast and crew are Spanish and Italians, and they've all been in tons of spaghetti westerns and giallo movies, so you'll recognise a lot of these faces. But there's a big star cast, as well. I did talk about Kirk Douglas and Samantha Eggar, but there is another big star. He's the big baddie as well, but we'll come on to that. Like, it's Yul Brynner, by the way. Just spoilers, I say, Yul Brynner. Oh, spoilers ahead. I found yet another bottle of whiskey. I can do that. It's magic. So, Will Denton, Kirk Douglas, has gone to this island. Get away from it all and like forget the past and his horrific romance that never happened and killing, a pseudo friend. And Captain Moritz, Fernando Rey, keeps asking him, "Why are you here, Denton? Why are you here?" And this is the first few minutes, and you're like, well, he's doing his job. He's putting all the ambergris and the lamp oil, getting also putting the candles in. He's enjoying his job, top of the lighthouse. He's putting all that stuff in there. He's looking after Felipe with his little capuchin monkey, whose name I've forgotten. He has a name, I've forgotten it now. And Felipe plays his little gob iron, and twangs it around, twang, 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 and all this. And you get the idea. Captain Moritz is an old sea captain, and now he's a barnacle bill. Now I've got this island and this lighthouse. I'm looking after this. Obey my rules. I'm still the captain. Kirk Douglas doesn't give two shits. He just, look, I want a quiet life. I love the scenery. I love the sea. I love everything about this. The isolation. And Felipe and his little fucking monkey, they're fine. You can argue all you want and be bluff and bluster, but I don't really care. So anyway, Felipe says, I've seen a deer on the island. And they're going like, you can't see a deer. It's a rocky crag in the middle of nowhere. How can you see a deer? Did it swim here from the mainland? How did it get here? But he's not wrong. He has seen a deer. So our boy, Kirk Douglas, Will Denton, gets a rolling block Remington, goes out there, takes it down. We've got dinner. And it's over his shoulders, and he's like, whoa, give me a load. This is Kirk Douglas. But suddenly the siren goes, and it's Captain Moritz. There's a ship coming in. This is broad daylight. Ship coming in, right? And they're flying sort of signals saying that there's sickness on board. So like, oh, weirdness. And so, you know what? I've got to say right now, when this film come out, we saw it on TV, we did not expect none of us expected what happened next. I will go on to its censorship problems. I will discuss all that. But this was a beatific sort of, beautifully shot, very scenic movie. Very sort of like, there was long years of cinematography by Cecilio Panagua and Henri Decay. It looks like DK, but that sounds wrong. Decay, let's call it that. It's beautifully picturesque, And so you think, oh, this is just going to be a lovely little adventure. A sort of, if you watched it now, you'd be thinking like, well, oh, it's going to be like a sort of primitive version of Jack Sparrow. Literally. So this ship comes in, this mysterious schooner comes in, and like, so Captain Moritz and Felipe go out there, a little launch to come and see what's happening. You stay here, Denton, you stay here. So Denton's got the monkey on his shoulder. And he's looking through the telescope, you know, and he sees this music playing right now. They arrive on the on this boat. Denton has seen all the crew of this boat, and there's a lot of crew on it, and they're swarthy. They're South American Indians, a lot of them, with headbands. They kind of look like Apaches, but they are from South America. There's pure cutthroats on there, and you have Virilio, played by Jean-Claude Drouot, or Drouot, how you pronounce it, and he's just against the masts like that, the sails, wearing a red tunic, and you know it's open, and he's basically nude apart from this red tunic, and he's there giving it loads, and Denton's watching all this, and this does not seem right at all. And our two, you know, Captain Moritz and Felipe get on board, and there's a sort of, you know, oh yeah, how are you? Yeah. And the next thing you know, Felipe, so obviously something gets said really nasty, and Felipe, the young lad who had the monkey, legs it across the deck, tries to escape, and Captain Moritz gets butchered before Kirk Douglas's very eyes, and before our very eyes. He gets poked and stabbed, and then and then a great big fucking halberd comes down with a big axe on it, beheaded. And then he capture Felipe, and like, cause killers like that, fuck, you know. Or the old 18th, well, fuck was always a word. Fuck's a very ancient word, by the way, but you know, I digress. It's like, and they grab poor young Felipe, and they tie him up by his ankles and swing him from a rope, laughing and cackling and jesting and joking, and he's just been swinging around and they're hitting him and all that, and then suddenly, before Kirk Douglas is now terrified, he's in the lighthouse, he's running down, God, I've got to do something, and then they stab him. They stab this poor Felipe, right in the guts. It's like, it's really fucking horrible. When you're a kid watching this on TV, this was billed as a family adventure movie. Not in the least. Nowhere near is this family adventure. This is fucking sadistic, barbaric. Exactly. And like, so Kirk Douglas legs it, and he runs into the air. Obviously on the island you've got the lighthouse, you've got other outbuildings as well, and he legs it across the rocks. Now we've seen him with the rolling block Remington, and he puts it back in, and it's been, you know, anchored in with chains and all that. Like, so he runs and he kicks the gun cabinet open. There's several guns in, a couple of pistols too, but he can't get he hasn't got the keys to the chains. Captain Moritz has got them. He's like, oh shit, I can't get them. So he legs it out with the monkey and goes and hides on the crags and rocks of this rather large island. The island gets bigger as the film goes on, but we'll talk about that. It's fine though, it works. It's a bit of an archipelago. You definitely see there's other little islets away from it, so you can sail from one side to another island, to another little islet and all that. But can't get the guns, goes and hides, and we see the captain of this butcherous piratical schooner, and it's Yul Brynner, you know, the King of Siam, Chris Adams from the Magnificent Seven. Yul Brynner could play a hero, he could play comedy, he could play a barbarous bastard, and he most certainly does here. And he plays Jonathan Congreve, who was part of the slave trade, but also a mercenary, and oh god, he's probably done all sorts of things, an assassin, you know, he's been everything, and now he's a pirate, and now he rules this crew. He's almost like, as you'll see as the film transpires, he's like a James Bond villain, because he has all his army, and he takes over a base. He has a base, this island. He makes that his base. He's got an army of pirates there who, you know, completely beholden to him. But he has several, you know, sort of like lieutenants, you know, like the main henchmen that you will see in the movie, which have got to be taken out. So it's very, very similar to a Bond movie or Bond concept in that sort of way. So they get on the island, and he has a horse as well. He has a beautiful Spanish stallion, bedecked with a unicorn's horn, and on its sort of, you know, all its regalia. And their ship has a unicorn as its prow, its mascot. I always forget the name of these things. The front of a bloody ship, I forget it now. But it's a unicorn. That's their emblem. And of course, Yul Brynner's bald as a coot, as he usually should be. And that voice, that commanding voice, is there. And he arrives on the island. Our boy's hiding in the caves, and suddenly, you know, he's like, he can't work out, you know, they've just killed everybody, you know, I'm alone here, what the hell do I do? Oh, these bastards. And then you hear, Denton, William Denton, Yul Brynner's voice. You are hereby, you know, found guilty of the murder of lighthouse keeper Captain Moritz, assistant lighthouse keeper Felipe, blah 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 blah. You know? And so they're going to pin the blame on him, but basically they know he's alive because they found all the records of who works on the island, who's there. There's only 3 of them there. They killed 2. There's 1 out there somewhere. So the rest of the film will become a guerrilla warfare game of strategy, tactics, bluff, capture, escape again, and it's an incredibly brutal movie, which is super exciting, super gorgeous to look at, you know. Director Kevin Billington, British director, so it's a British directed movie. Hadn't done much beforehand. He'd done TV stuff, and he'd done I think about 2 or 3 movies, none of which I can remember. But he could speak Spanish, very fluent Spanish. So because it was filmed extensively in Spain, Madrid, mainland Spain, and a lot of little islands and coastal regions of Spain, he came in very handy because all the crew were Spanish, so they brought him in, and he doesn't do a bad job, I'll be honest. I think it was completely anachronistic for what he would do, not the sort of thing he'd want to do. And the film is not also what Kirk Douglas wanted. I think Kirk Douglas wanted a more family-friendly film, but what was delivered went far beyond that. So let's talk about the opening sequence of barbarity. Captain Moritz, and you're watching through the telescope through Kirk Douglas's eye, and you can't hear what's being said. You hear laughter from these devilish bastards on board, which becomes a major thing about the movie. These absolute fucking sadistic cunts. I make no bones about that. They are sadistic cunts. They laugh and take the piss out of their victims, something chronic. They're horrible, horrible. Think H.G. Lewis, Herschel Gordon Lewis, and 2000 Maniacs, and any sort of to horribly bring in real life. A lot of footage of people being beaten up on the streets of the UK and maybe elsewhere as well, where the gangs that have done it then film it and laugh like maniacs as they're beating someone to a pulp. It's that kind of sinister, horrible barbarity, and this film has that in spades, and nobody expected it. It was billed as a big family entertainment movie along the line. It's a Jules Verne story. It's adventure. It's got Kirk Douglas in it. Yeah. Oh no, it's really horribly nasty. So when you watch that scene, that opening scene on the boat, sort of Captain Moritz gets stabbed. They have a halberd and they drag him in. He gets punctured, hit in the neck, and then this another big axe halberd comes down, and it's cut there. But what you do see afterwards, you see his headless body. The head's gone, but blood all over the deck, and poor Felipe is running around and then gets caught and gets fucking viciously stabbed, hanging upside down on the ropes, being swung around, but they're all laughing at him. From that point onwards, all bets are off. Whatever you thought this film was going to be, it's not going to be it. Now, it's going to be nasty. It's going to take no prisoners. So, Kirk Douglas, Will Denton, haunted man from his past, from the gold rush. He didn't get the girl he loved, killed the man that took the girl he loved, and then obviously she would never look at him again. And then his island archipelago, his island paradise has now been butchered by these twats. So right, he hides away. They know he's out there because they know there's someone else out there. So the pirates, all these sort of Apache but South American Indians, it's all horribly strange. And lots of like spaghetti western faces. I'll tell you now. You have Tito Garcia, Aldo Sambrell, all these people are in Sergio Leone and Sergio Corbucci movies. Victor Israel is fucking horrible in this. He has a glassy white eye, a mad hair, and he's going like ha 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 as people are being skinned alive. He's fucking horrible, but a great actor, and he's a well-known face. So you've got these guys, and they're hunting Will across the craggy rocks of this island, which seems to get bigger the more it goes on, but it's filmed in different locations. I'll tell you now, the lighthouse and the lighthouse buildings, all the lighthouse keepers' dwellings, and all the other little buildings and outcroppings, they were filmed. They were created. They were created specifically for the movie. They're not there, and yet it looks realistic. Little lighthouse there, lighthouses over here as well. It looks genuine. It's a bloody 80-foot high lighthouse edifice with all the lights and the candles, and it does its thing. And all the buildings are just been built on this rocky outcrop. But a lot of it's filmed elsewhere. It's filmed in did I say this before? I've got a feeling I said it before. Ayeva, Valencia, Murcia, Girona, Cap de Cruz, and La Pedriza, and other places too. Anywhere that have rocky sort of bays and coves that they could a big cast running about and scampering on, and and have chase scenes. So Will is now hiding away. The pirates are trying to find him everywhere. They're trying to lure him out, and he's got the monkey. And in another horrifically nasty scene, again very early on, they capture Will. Will thinks they've fucked off on the ship and they've gone, and he goes back to the outhouse buildings and gets caught. And like, there's Yul Brynner there as Jonathan Congreve. Like, oh, you know what? Have a drink. I can't do his Rusky accent. Have a drink. You must be thirsty. Will Denton. And all the rest of the crew are there, all in their bizarre costumes and their bizarre Apache South American sort of attire. And you've got Viriglio, who is, well, he deserves a certain chapter to himself, which we're going to do. And Will gets some food. And after he's had some food and a bit of wine or whatever, and he knows he's in trouble because he's surrounded by these bastards. And like Jonathan Congreve, Yul Brynner, the captain, I am your captain now. I own this island. This light is mine. You murdered your compadres, and like you will suffer for that. It's like, who are you? This is what Kirk was saying. Who are you? It's like, well, you've had some refreshment. Now it's time for some exercise. And then all the mob of pirates grab Kirk Douglas, hoist him, and like drag him outside. It's, you know what? It's genuinely horrific. I've talked about riots that I've had to militarily police and had to be involved in, and why I do not like crowds now at all, and the jeering and baying, and sadly not being political, but I think in the UK we're going to see a lot more of this, sadly. Anyway, he gets dragged out and to the lighthouse, and they wrap his ankle up in a rope, and they start swinging him side to side. And one of these cackling, laughing pseudo-Apache South American natives is like swinging a sword, just underneath his head as he's swinging. They're all laughing, and they get the monkey, Felipe's monkey, which became Kirk Douglas's monkey, little capuchin. And you have, what's his name, Tito Garcia, he's got a little mohawk, and a right fucking bulbous, bell-ended, fucking fat twat he is as well. In many movies, always playing a twat, and he's there. They're all laughing, and this is what is so horrible about it. And poor Kirk Douglas is upside down by one ankle. Horrible way to be. Obviously, you don't do it for pleasure, do you? And he's being swung around and being teased by a blade, and they're all laughing at him. And this twat, this pirate Tito, is like stroking the monkey's head. That sounded really badly wrong, but you know what I mean. And then suddenly his knife comes out, and he goes, and he skins the monkey, and it shows him the eviscerated, glistening viscera of the monkey. And like, Will Denton has seen Captain Moritz, Felipe, and now the monkey get butchered by these bastards, and he's hanging upside down. They even raise him up to the top of the lighthouse and then drop him down at an alarming rate, but stop it before he hits the deck. And they do it several times. And then, because it's not over yet, his torture's not over yet, they then put a rope around his neck and lead him out, bound, gagged, to a little valley somewhere up on the craggy rocks. And remember that the horse I mentioned, Yul Brynner's got a horse with like a unicorn sort of headdress on. So he's going to be hunted by Yul Brynner, Jonathan Congreve. So you have this a kind of a bizarre chase sequence across the island, which is shot really well. I've seen people reviewing this movie and going like, "Oh god, that scene's terrible." I don't get it at all. I honestly don't get it at all. I think now would be a good time to mention the censorship in the UK version, because the UK version is different. The skinning of the monkey is not in the UK version. if you get the DVD, which is there somewhere, I've got Spanish version, I've got French version, I've got Italian version as well. The human violence is still all there in the UK version, but what they've done, and I don't dispute it, because I don't like any cruelty to animals at all. I just don't. That said, I like to see a film uncut. So in this movie, the skinning of the capuchin monkey, whose name I forgot, that's cut out of the UK releases now. It was fully uncut on TV, fully uncut on the broadcast I saw way back, and then when it came on again, I was there with a fucking Betamax video cassette. I'm recording this, it's on again, I'm recording this, and that was uncut as well. But we'll talk about this. There are a lot more stuff with censorship with this movie, a lot more. But there is a sequence with this horse where they do the dreaded trip fall. Not in this first chase sequence, it comes later on. But the two scenes cut in the British version, and maybe other versions too, but certainly the UK version on the UK DVD. It's not on 4K, it's not on Blu-ray in the UK at the moment. But it'd be great if it does come up. The cinematography is fantastic, so it should look gorgeous. But there's a trip fall, and that's been removed because it's illegal to do that and to show it in UK movies and TV shows. And I don't mind that. It can ruin a film. For example, Conan the Barbarian. The UK version of that is diabolical. It doesn't work. And Conan the Destroyer as well. The horse falls taken out. I'm kind of torn. Horses die when they do that. Not all the time, but they can die. It's very, very horrible for the horse. So I get why it's removed. But the removal of these scenes, it could take a fraction of a second to remove that, but they don't do it. They're very arbitrary. So, like Conan the Barbarian, it makes final battle scenes, Battle of the Mounds of Conan the Barbarian, incomprehensible, because people are just flying everywhere. And like, what happened there? You got no idea. But of course, like many of yourselves, we have the uncut versions anyway, so we're okay. I don't like the horse falls, but I don't like them. But I want the film to make sense at the same time. So this film has that as well. So they unleash Jonathan Congreve on his unicorn stallion to go and chase Will Denton, and he manages to outwit the horse and the rider, and it's kind of a great scene, to be honest. And Kirk Douglas, who's an older man now, well, older, I mean, it's only like 11 years after he did Spartacus, but he wasn't really, a young man then. He was in his 40s then. So, but he looks great. His raggedy beard on him, and like a sort of like dishevelled look. And he's legging it, and this fucking horse is coming after him. And like, Yul Brynner is not looking his best either. Brynner put weight on. Remember, he did a film called The Ultimate Warrior, which I think was about a year or so after this. And he was looking a bit bloated then. And he walked around with no top on for a lot of that movie. But it's a sci-fi post-apocalyptic film. It's not great, but it's, if you love the genre, then it's worth looking at. I've got it. I enjoy it, but it's not a good film, I'll be honest. But Brynner is not looking his best either. He's definitely filled out. So see him riding a horse, which he can do really well, but he's looking a bit on the bulky side. Anyway, so the chase is on, and Denton outwits Congreve on his horse, and it runs towards the cliff edge. And just leaps off and becomes a really flimsy dummy. There's two scenes where dummies are used with falls, and this is the first, and it's pretty tragic, I'll be honest. And it just, the legs fold and everything. It's clearly a mannequin with like floppy legs. Ooh, and it does a hell of a drop into the water, and then you see a real person hit the water, and manage to come through and go underwater. And then he has a massive flashback. So Denton survived the chase, gone into the briny in the rocky cove, and he has a sort of an existential moment where he remembers why he's gone there. So for the benefit of us, the audience, you then see his gold rush, finding gold, and like, we made our fortune, we opened a saloon, the girl I love married this bastard, and then this bastard has been a complete bastard to everybody else, and I've had to shoot him. So you get his backstory. Now, in his back at the lighthouse keeper's station, you've got his case of all his memoirs and that, like, and there's a picture of the girl that he loved, and there's and there's a wedding on the back of it. It's a picture of, I think it's the three of them together, and she's saying like, oh, Will, I love you and all that, like, but now I'm with this guy, whatever it is, like. But Jonathan Congreve's found all that. So anyway, why the pirates there? They're gonna take out the real lighthouse lamp and put fake lights further out to drive ships onto the rocks, and they do so. And a passenger ship called the California Flyer, carrying English hoity-toities, is lowered onto the rocks and destroyed because of the fake light. And another great set piece, it comes in, and there's model work going, there's miniature work. It's not that bad. 1971, don't forget. You had stuff in the 60s with really bad models, and then in the 70s you get the Amicus movies with really bad model work and miniature work. Huge big waves in like a fish tank, and a little model ship, and droplets of water were like massive. It didn't work. It doesn't matter. I'm not knocking it. It's just an observation. So they wreck this ship, and Will Denton watches all this take place, and you see all the shipboard chaos and panic, and they get into a little launch and they start swimming to shore, women and kids and all that. But all of Yul Brynner's fucking mob are there with their cutlasses, their knives, spiky weapons, and fucking big axe halberds. They're waiting for them. Oh my god! The film. Well, again, I'll talk about the cuts to the movie separately. But so the people come up and like, you see, they're all grinning, ha! So you see like the way it's cut, the way it's done. You see these bastards grinning and laughing, and you see people going, with blood on their face, and you don't see any actual stuff going in. But it's barbaric. It's bloody horrible. It's genuinely horrible. And women and kids are getting butchered, and people are getting drowned and all that. And these bastards are having a whale of a time doing it. A whale of a tale, Kirk Douglas sang A Whale of a Tale in Jules Verne's, Walt Disney's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. But they're having a whale of a time doing this. And but he sees one guy struggling to shore, and one of these South American Indians leaps on him. He's about to take him, but our boy's there lurking in the rocks. I'll take you down. So he does, and he fucking leaps on him, and he gets him by the throat, and like fucking thumbs at him, fucking taking you down, and drowns him repeatedly. Fucking puts him in like and kills the bastard, and then saves this guy. And this guy is Luigi Montefiore, played by Renato Salvatore. And these two become mates, buddies, and wage guerrilla warfare against Captain Congre on the island. They've got a great cave already. Kirk Douglas has found a great cave to go into to secrete himself, and it's kind of bizarre. In broad daylight, the two of these guys go fishing and they find things and all that and blah blah. The crashed ship. They go in there and they bring things back, survival bits and bobs. And of course, the pirates have gone in there. They've ditched all the bodies and they're going in there and finding things and bringing them all back. And they've got a cave of all the treasures that they've got, right? So you've got there's a cave of treasures, and you've got our hero's cave. These two guys have a little cave. Kirk Douglas found it initially, and then he brings Luigi Montefiore into his cave. And but there's a hole in that cave. You've got to be careful as you walk in. There's a great big round hole which will drop you 80 foot into the briny, and the rocks down below, crashing against the side of the cliffs. So they put like a carpet over it, a rug over it. So they've got their own little place there. But as I say, these guys will go out fishing and they'll bring things back to make their cave a bit prettier. It's broad fucking daylight. You've got at least 40, 50, maybe more of these bastards on the island who are out there looking for them all the time. So it's I don't know, it's a dodgy game. You barely ever move. You'd have to start taking them out, which they do. Start taking them out left, right and centre to have any chance of survival. You couldn't move about during daytime. You just simply couldn't do it. But anyway, the film works on this level. It doesn't matter. But of course, when that ship was wrecked and Kirk Douglas saved Luigi Montefiore, someone else survived. Samantha Eggar, the great gorgeous Samantha Eggar from The Brood and many of the movies, and Jonathan Congre finds her and we've got a woman on the island, and oh my god, what she does, what Samantha Eggar's character Arabella does, she pretends to be someone of landed gentry, someone of power and position. I am Lady Arabella Ponsonby, to try to appease, Jonathan Congre, appeal to him. I'm important. I'm a lady of standing. You don't want to, mess with me. I could be important for you. And he does take an interest in it. I should say right now that Jonathan Congre has, the time it's set, and he was part of the slave trade. He has a Negro young boy as his servant. It's hinted. It's not made overtly clear, but it's definitely hinted at that he has relations with this little black boy. And one of his main lieutenant, Viriglio, played by, what's his name again? Jean-Claude Drouot, who's brilliant, is a cross-dressing, possibly transgender, deviant. He doesn't care at all, and he's very popular with all the pirates on board, of which there are many. He laughs, he dances, he struts, he wears Cuban heels, he's topless, but he wears a red, I'm tempted to say red British tunic, but I don't think it is. I think it's a Spanish tunic, but I don't know. I haven't studied it enough to work it out. But he wears, it's almost like a red hussar's tunic, which he kind of wears around him like a cape, and and he's swarthy. He's a bloody good looking guy, don't get me wrong. And that's the thing about it. He becomes this really fearful figure. Yul Brynner is terrifying in it because of the power that he has. And all the rest of these heathen bastards are terrifying. But it's Veriglio who is the absolute... He's a demon. He's terrifying. He laughs and I'm trying to... He's pantomimic. He's OTT. He will ululate. He will scream and shout and like dance. He will dress up in women's clothes and they will follow him, and he'll be dancing around and they'll follow him, all the rest of them. And he will tease Samantha Eggar, Arabella. And in a really terrifically bizarre sequence, because they haven't harmed her yet. They haven't harmed her yet because she's serving a purpose, and Jonathan Congreve, Yul Brynner, wants to have her around, and they give her all the clothes that they've brought back from the ship. Everything's there, and of course they've got loads of finery, wine and bloody decanters and crystal glass and mirrors and all sorts of stuff that she's gonna love. Whatever that ship was carrying, they brought it all back. So she's in there, and in a big, almost Dracula's castle sort of ball gown sort of thing. And the door she's on her own in there, and the door gets kicked open. Violently kicked open. Boosh! And she's like at this long trestle table, and she's like, just looks up, and for a long time nothing happens, and then you suddenly hear boom, 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 and Veriglio comes in, and he's dressed, he's got a tiara on, he's got like a feathered, a woman's feathered headdress thing on, and he's wearing a ball gown off the shoulder, and you're like, there's something really, really frightening about that. And he comes in, boom, 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 and all the pirates follow behind him in sort of reverence. And don't forget, these are all horribly sadistic, evil-looking twats. And he's there doing all this. He's wearing a fucking woman's dress, a long ball gown off the shoulder. He's got like a bodrum, boom, 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 and it's a long scene, and she's just like, Samantha Eggar, what the fuck am I supposed to do here? She's like, and then suddenly he leans back and just goes, and they start dancing and fucking giving it loads, and it's really, really frightening and bizarre. It's not fun, it's not funny, it's genuinely, these guys are gonna do, you've got no idea what they can do. But then they just present her to Jonathan Congreve. So it was a big sort of like introduction. We can do whatever we want. We're gonna take the piss out of you. We're gonna laugh at you. But by the way, our boss wants you. So, and what Jonathan Congreve, Yul Brynner, has discovered in Will Danson's all his memoirs and his photos, Emily Jane is the woman that he loved back in the California gold rush. The reason why he left and came to this fucking blighted, arse scar, on the bum hole of the world. And you look like her. You're an actress, because she's not Arabella Ponsonby. As we find out, she's actually the maid for Arabella Ponsonby. But Arabella Ponsonby died, was killed or drowned in the air when they wrecked that ship. But she thought, if I pretend to be her, I'll get her. They might keep me alive. It's my one avenue of survival, and it's worked so far. But Jonathan Congreve is not fucking stupid. Psychotic, but not stupid. And he's just like, you're a good actress. I wanted you to act for me. You are now Emily Jane. And he shows the picture. It's like, why'd you want him? Meaning Will Denton. Because he knows. It's just like a quest between the two, obviously, you know. It's just making rivals out of, you know, a protagonist and an antagonist. Why do you want me to do this? To get him? So what they do, they get her, and she does it as well. This is the great thing about this movie. She's not in the book, by the way. Jules Verne did not have a love interest in this movie. And whatever reviews you read, she's not a love interest. She's not. This film is brilliant. She's another survivor who, well, we'll go into this right now. You are going to be Emily Jane because you look like her. So, I mean, Will Denton's not fucking stupid, you know. Of course, she can't be out here, can she? But she does her hair like the same way and puts on these ball gowns and walks out on the rocky crags in the bright sunshine with a parasol, and the lighthouse, beautifully shot, is in the background, way further away. And like, of course, our boy Kirk Douglas and Luigi Montefiore are there, like, and they're doing what they're catching fish or whatever the hell they're doing, and you hear the voice of Veriglio, Emily Jane, Emily Jane, the captain wants to see you, Emily Jane. I will say right now, a lot of reviews also say that Jean-Claude Drouot, who plays Veriglio, doesn't say a word. He does. I've just told you that. And he does speak again later. Doesn't say a great deal. No one says a great deal in this movie. There's not a lot of dialogue in it. But, you know, that doesn't really matter. But people always say, he doesn't say a word. He does. He's the guy shouting out, Emily Jane, the captain wants to see you. So they're saying Emily Jane, which Will Denton knows. Well, Emily Jane, that's shit. She's the girl that I left the world for to come here. He looks up, and of course he sees that shit. He doesn't know this woman survived. They haven't realised that before. He saved Luigi Montefiore. He hadn't really seen anyone else getting dragged out who was alive. Everyone else was butchered. And so he's like, and he does think, and like Luigi's going like, Will, because they're friends now. Like, Will, no, come away. And he's like, but Kirk Douglas is like, no, it can't be, can it? Emily Jane. And like, it looks like he doesn't fall for it. He does realise it's just this fucking trick, but he also realises that there's someone else who's alive and it's not part of this bunch of bastards. But it's a clever little deceit. It's not in Jules Verne's story. In Jules Verne's original story, there is no woman. There isn't. Will Denton meets another guy, and the two of them survive and fight guerrilla warfare against the pirates. But there's no woman there at all. So the film adds her, and yes, you're all thinking, love interest, he's got to save her. Oh, he'll try. But the film is cleverer than that. It's darker, more deceivious, more deceitful than that. Deceivious? Is that a word? I don't know. Sounds good. It felt good, rolling off the tongue there. So he's now gonna like, I've got to get in there and find out who the hell that girl is. So you get a lot of there's still more them hunting our good guys, and you get Tito Garcia, the one who skinned the monkey, the capuchin monkey. That twat finds them, and he manages to find the little cave they're in, and he's got a double-barreled pistol. I wrote this down somewhere. I'm sure I wrote it down. A pinfire double-barreled pistol. So I've got little noties here, and and he comes in. He's got a little tiny mohawk and a bit of a goatee and a tash. He's a weird little fat fuck, you know. You would expect to see him in an Italian restaurant, and his name would be Luigi, you know, and a bit more Parmesan Luigi. Yeah, not your own, if you don't mind. And he comes in, and he's laughing and like, with his double-barreled pistol, and he's like, and they're like, oh shit, and they both realise that, stupid bastard, and he walks over the hole in the floor, which Kirk Douglas, when he first found the cave, he almost fell into it himself. So that's how he knows, and they put a rug across it. So he comes in, oh, boof, bang, hits the fucking rocks on the way down, and he's dead. There's blood all over the water, and our two boys are fucking laughing their heads off, like, and they get the pistol, you know. So, look at the whiskey now. They get the pistol, and so he's gone. Right. So where were we at? Oh, right. Well, Kirk Douglas is gonna. I've got to go and meet this girl. I've got to find out what the hell is going on there. Will, don't bother. Will, just don't do it, you know. But no, Will is going to do it. And they'll discover that he will go in there and discover that she's not who she says she is. She's not Arabella Ponsonby, and she's not Emily Jane either. I mean, he fucking knows that. It's not the girl he left behind. It's not Emily Jane. She's like, I'm not Arabella Ponsonby. I'm the maid, but I use that name just to try to gain survival. And he said, because I think they've met, there's been a moment earlier where she's gone, help me, but he's had to like fucking bug out and all that, like, help me. So he goes back to get her, and but she says to him, and this is brilliant, this is genuinely brilliant. It's not in the book. They arrange a distraction, right? They get all the stuff out of the cave which the wreckers have put in there, all the treasures, and I mean, yeah, it's bizarre. How could you manage to move all this stuff without being seen? And there's big trestle tables, there's big works of art, ornate gold-rimmed works of art, and like loads of like, you know, I don't know, crystal decanters and jewellery and just tons of treasure. And they've got loads of liquor. So Montefiore is the one he saved is like drinking loads and getting fucking pissed in the fart. Which part would I play in this movie? One wonders. And so, and the idea is do a distraction. There's another ship coming in. I should say there's another ship coming in, which they're going to try to save that ship. But that's all part of this fucking sequence. So they've got all this, and they're going to burn this. They have now found 2 flare pistols. This film is set in 1865, right? I was going to tell you now, the 2 flare pistols are, I did write this down. Webley and Scott Mark 1 flare pistols from 1915. They weren't around when the story's set. It doesn't really matter. But they do look wrong at the same time. They do look wrong, and they find the flares and they cock them open, they put the flare in, and they've got 2 of these. So it's the full distraction to, anyway, set fire to a big rocky crag with all this treasures. And Kirk Douglas gets in to go and like rescue Samantha Eggar, and she doesn't want to be rescued. She's like, you know, what can you offer me? To run away to a cave and hide in a cave and hope to survive? I'm getting fed here. I'm being looked after by these. They're all bastards, but you know what? You could be a good guy, but what can you offer me? And it's genuinely brilliant. I think so, because you're like, well, I'm better off here than with you, and yet we're with him. We know they're all evil twats, and he's the good guy, and we're like, we're with him, just shell shocked. I can save you. But she's right. Save me. How? To live in a cave, to be on the run, on a small island? What saving is that? Well, the relief ship's going to be here soon, and blah, all that blarney. It doesn't work anyway. And but Aldo Sombrell comes in, the one from the Sergio Leone and Sergio Corbucci westerns, comes in, and they realise he's on the way in, like so. She draws the curtains on the bed, the full poster bed. This was not in these lighthouse outhouses at all. A full poster bed. And where did he get it from? Does one of these ships carry a four poster bed? I don't know. So it's there anyway, and they draw the curtains, and Douglas is hiding there, and like she's just like, why are you in here? You shouldn't be in here. And Aldo Sombrell knows that he's in there because Yul Brynner is on a rooftop further on, and he's watched Kirk Douglas go in there, so he knows what's happening. He sends him in anyway. But Kirk Douglas brings a knife out and fucking through the curtains, gets him right in the guts. Fuck you, and drops him. And then he's like, come away with me now. And that's when he says like, well, I can't. What can you offer me? So then he's like, oh, fuck off then. So off he goes, escapes. Yul Brynner comes in, striding round Yul Brynner style. King of Siam, king of this island. And there's his mate there, another good lieutenant. Fucking hell. Brings off a rug from the bed, puts it over him, drapes it over him, and then he just stares at her. I think he gives her, I think if I'm rightly, they sit at a table and he gives her a drink, but he doesn't say a word to her. And then he gets up and goes and lies on the bed. And what does she do then? The love interest for the movie, the girl you meant to think is going to be saved, the heroine, will be looked after by our hero. She goes and lies on his bed, strokes him, caresses him. I'm sure there's a bit of a his finger, and there's a bit of that going on, and she strokes the rest of him sort of off camera, but he's not interested, and we don't see what happens after that. He's not asked about her. I should say his little black servant boy, who'd be what, I don't know, 13, 14. There's been another incident earlier on where our two heroes, Kirk Douglas and what's his name? Well, his buddy that we saved from the ship, Luigi Montefiore, however it works out. They've gone into it. They've done another little fucking seek and destroy mission, and they found like these guys, the pirates have encampments around the island, and they go into one of the encampments, and there's the horse there, and they killed two of the Indians there who were protecting it. Well, they take a few out, don't get me wrong. There's a few, like, they whittle down the numbers, but there's fucking millions of these bastards. But they take a few out though, and they try to get the horse, and they put the saddle on it, and the two get on this horse, and when they escape, the little native boy who's Congre's little servant boy, who's clearly his little bum chum as well, runs up and gets fucking hoofed down and killed by the horse. They take off, and that's when in the UK version, the horse fall is done. UK version, you don't see it, and it makes no fucking sense at all how they come off that horse. The two, Kirk Douglas and his mate, are on the horse making an escape, and they're all like trying to catch them and all that, and they get round through another valley, and this island's fucking huge. It's like the island version of the TARDIS. It's much bigger once you're there than it actually genuinely is on a map. It's fucking huge because they filmed it in all different locations. And the horse gets the tripwire pulled, and you see it writhing round on the deck. And Kirk Douglas does come up with that double-barreled pistol which he nicked from Tito Mohican, falls down the hole, kills the horse. But you see the horse in distress, without a doubt, and it's not good. So certain scenes leave a very sour taste in your mouth because they're exceptionally shockingly violent and unexpected, and also there's animal cruelty as well. There's an earlier scene where when they first arrive at the island, the pirates, they hoist this horse off the deck of the ship onto a raft to take it ashore. That horse is in very, very clear distress, and you watch it. It's only a brief scene, a brief that you see on movie. It's a long time for that horse to be in that predicament, and it is not good. Don't get me wrong, it's not good. I love this film, but there's elements I genuinely hate about it as well. So anyway, so they've killed, the horse has killed Congre's his little black bum chum, and you see the pirates have they burn him on a funeral pyre, and it's a big, huge service. The film makes a big show of this, and he's there, and they all go out on a big promontory, all in reverence, and they light it up and set him on fire and send him into ashes. And so it shows they've got like enormous respect. These guys, you've got Veriglio, who's a cross-dressing, hates women. It's very clear he hates women by the way he treats and despises Samantha Eggar, takes the piss out of it. But the way he struts around as some kind of like, I don't know, cross-dressing maniac. It's not me saying that. That's the way you're meant to view this, and but the thing is, he's great. He's genuinely terrifying. Veriglio is a terrifying entity in this movie. So anyway, Congre's lost his little close friend, and now, what's her name? Arabella has rebelled. Arabella rebelling against Kirk Douglas. No, I want to stay here. You can't believe it. So they are doing cannon practice. They have cannon on board their ship, but they bring the cannon onto the island, and I think Will Denton thinks the ship's leaving. Well, not leaving. They're doing target practice because they know another ship's going to come in, meaning the relief ship, which is going to have a big crew on it, and like replacement crew, and also like probably Marines of some description are going to be on there. So they're doing target practice. So they brought the cannon on the island. So it's going to be important now. Now, that distraction I mentioned earlier with all the artifacts and the treasures, and it's a great scene because Luigi Montefiore, what's his name again? His real name? Oh God, Renato Salvatore, who was a bit of an Italian sort of major star, and he's like they've got all rum and port, and Will's done his thing, tried to rescue her, that's all failed. And he's stayed out a bit too long. And he turned in a great shot, he's like, he's going to be in trouble because you've got all these pirates fucking moving around and over the island. And this other ship, oh God, yeah. Kilt-Man, get back on point. There's another ship coming in. And our two guys realise they're going to do the same to them. They're going to lure them in because they're all out on the rocks. All the crew, all the pirates are out on the rocks with all their glistening bladed artifacts. That's what we call them in this country now, in the UK. A bladed artifact. Yeah. So they're all waiting. And ships coming in. And the guy that Will saved is going Will, we can't let them go the same fate. We must save them. And he's like, no. We survive. We stay alive and we survive. We don't get involved. I've actually given him more words than he actually says. He just said, no, we survive. But then he thinks about it. For a long second or two on camera, Kirk Douglas thinks about this. Shit, okay, alright. So we'll form the distraction and then we'll go up there and we'll go to the lighthouse. And they go to the lighthouse and there's a lookout on top of the lighthouse and they get him and they fucking throttle him, throw him over the fucking edge and his head splits open and all that, like it's great. And they put the candles back into the lamp, the light. Put a load of those in there. So at the last second, it's a bit dizzy to be honest. At the last second, the ship's coming into the rocks, and suddenly it sees the light and it goes, whoa, like that. And, you know, it's a bit. They'd have been doomed anyway. But the point is that they've done it, and Jonathan Congreve, Yul Brynner, and all his men are like, what? Bastards! Go and get those fucking bastards. Which is when Luigi Montefiore legs it across. He said, Will, come with me. He said, no, I've got to go and get the girl. I'll go and get Arabella. I'll go and save her. And that's when she like fucking spurns him away. No, not doing this. I'm safer here. He's like, oh, fuck you then. So they get away. Well, they don't get away. Because the film now speeds towards its rather horrific climax. What happens is like it cuts like the next day, and Luigi Montefiore, the guy he saved, his Will's buddy, has done the distraction, but he's seen all the pirates coming back on the rocks, and he throws a bottle down, and it lands by Viriglio, you know, the cross-dressing, bizarre, psycho, completely scary bastard. It lands by him, and he just like looks up, and you don't see him get captured, but they clearly do capture him because he's pissed as a fart and can't get away. So the next day, broad daylight, on the ship, their pirate ship, they've got Will Denton's mate, the guy he saved, in a big, massively, you know, tousled white shirt, rip it open, and he's like that. He's tied to ropes, and there's the big mast behind him, and they hoist him aloft. You've been accused of this. Like, they're saying you've killed various people of our. I am now sovereign of these islands. I own this part of the world, and you've killed some of my people. So you stand accused, and it's execution basically. You're guilty. So they hoist him aloft, and oh my god, they flay him alive. He's up, 30-40 feet in the air, and they have this huge hook on a big massive fucking pole, and they just rake it across his chest and tear strips off his chest. And Samantha Eggar is that they've brought her on board. Now don't forget, she's meant to be the ostensible love interest. Again, what he's doing, what Congreve is doing, is trying to lure Will Denton out. I don't know why he's so fucking arsed. You know, Will Denton can't do a great deal. He actually has done. He's like Johnny Rambo. He's whittled down his crew left, right, and centre. But you know, could he really win the day? As far as Congreve is concerned, why is Congreve so massively pissed off about this guy? It's like John McClane in Nakatomi Plaza, you know, and Hans Gruber. You know, what? Just get on with the plan. Don't worry about the guy. Just do what you're gonna do, and like, if he comes near, take him out. So, but we know. I've only just realised this is a progenitor for Die Hard. I have only just realised that. And it ends the same fucking way. Oh my God. Well, we're going to come to that. It is. It's Die Hard. This film is... Oh, dear God. Dear Lord. I never saw this coming. Anyway, so they've got this guy. They're flaying him alive. And Samantha Eggar, Arabella Ponsonby, but she's not. She's the maid. But we don't know it's Arabella. And she's like, oh, why are you doing this? No, I need to bring him out and all this, like, blah, 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 blah. And like, on the cliffs above, Will's got one of the rifles again now. Rollblock Remington does a mercy kill and shoots his friend right through the head. So like, they know they've got him, and they know that he's put him out of his misery. So once again, you fucking defeated me. And so he goes like, well, right. He then sacrifices Samantha Eggar to the bloodthirsty, orgiastic lust and depravity of his entire crew. And I mean massive gang rape. Obviously you don't see explicitly what happens, but oh my God, it is beyond nasty. It's just one of the worst things. This film was telling us a family adventure movie. People being flayed alive, beheaded, all sorts of shit, monkeys being skinned, people being shot in the head, like, no way on earth. And then this, and I'll tell you what happens. Viriglio, who hates women, the cross-dressing fucking weirdo, he grabs it and he fucking throws it around, and I fucking, God, and he's like, and he throws it to all the fucking crew who are like pouncing on it, like ripping her clothes, and like they're up, and you're like, shit, are you fucking kidding me? You're doing this? That's Samantha Eggar, you know. So, on the shore, don't forget, they put all the cannons, stupidly, on the shore to do target practice, to take out the relief ship. So the cannons are there. And I'll be honest, it's a bit of a daft scene because Kirk Douglas, Will Denton, then lights all the cannons and fires everything and destroys their ship. Completely destroys their ship. Kills literally all the pirates apart from 2. Kills all the pirates. But so the ship was in the right position for these things. Oh, I don't know. Actually, no. I'm just trying to think now. The ship came out, their ship, and like there was a question like, why is the ship gone? It's for target practice to go and get, the relief ship, but they had a target set away from the ship. It doesn't make any. Look, I'll be honest, it doesn't make any sense. But you do see them shooting at a floating raft with a target on it, a bullseye, and they take that out with the cannons. But you don't see him moving the cannons around to. The ship's not the same place. Lights the cannons and fucking the whole ship collapses. Masts come off. It goes down. Killed them all. But Congre and Viriglio have got ashore again, and they've gone to the lighthouse, and they've seen their ship being taken apart. And then, Kirk Douglas is like, what else are you gonna do? I've only got one reason to exist now. It's like, fucking kill you. So he's like, let's Kirk Douglas fucking running to the fucking lighthouse. So he goes, and of course, I should say, there's been scenes of them sneaking into the lighthouse. The lighthouse has massive steel staircases. Clang, 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 clang. You can't fucking walk up that silently. They've already been there when they relit it to scare off, to warn the other ship before being wrecked. and they killed a guy who was guarding up there and threw him over the fucking edge. And he's like, he doesn't hear any clanging footsteps and all that, like, but you know, it is what it is. So the finale of the movie is a final duel between Kirk Douglas, Yul Brynner, and Veriglio, what's his name again? Jean-Claude Drouot. And it's great. It's actually great. What they do is like they know he's going to come up there, but you don't know that Veriglio is there. I've given the game away. Sorry about that. Spoilers, as I say. So Yul Brynner's up there. Kirk Douglas is going for him, and he comes up. He's like, and Kirk Douglas has a great fucking vengeance face, which of course you saw in Spartacus brilliantly. And now he's older and more. He's got the beard. He's more grizzled. He's like, you know, I'm gonna fucking take you down. You know, you can see it in his eyes. And but when he gets in there, suddenly there's this. I should have said, Veriglio has a katana. The whole bunch of Indians, pirates, they're all an absolutely bizarre cross hybridization of barbarians. They've all got bizarre weaponry. They all look strange. They all look exotic. Some look like I don't know, like Mexican mercenaries. Some are like South American Indians. Some are like Apache Indians. But they all look massively scary, and they've all got like fucking bizarre, horribly, you know, nasty weaponry. So as he comes in, you know, I've got to get you. There's a fucking samurai sort of katana under his throat, and you got like Veriglio in his red tunic, just cackling away there. And what they do, they break all the lamp oil, ambergris, got all sorts of things that they use for like lamp oil, but it's highly flammable. That's the whole point. So Kirk Douglas is now drenched in this stuff. Shit, you're gonna set me on fire, and they are. That's what they're gonna do. This is gonna set him on fire. But anyway, he says he managed. It's kind of a bit of a naff way around it. So like, look, the relief ship's coming. You guys have got nothing here now. You know, I'm the one guy that can save you. They'll believe my story. You could be a survivor. He's saying this to Jonathan Connery, Yul Brynner. I can tell them you're a survivor of one of the ships that these pirates wrecked, and I saved you. And he's like, and you think he's not gonna fall for that. Having said that, he's lost his entire ship, his entire crew, just two of them left. It's only a pure vengeance there, but it's also that. So I've got no way getting off the island. So supply ship comes here. How am I going to explain myself and all this wreckage and dead bodies? How am I going to explain this? So in a way, he's got him. You can't explain this away, can you? They're going to fucking shoot you, hang you, whatever they're going to do with you. Keelhaul you, preferably. And so he's like, okay, right. And he's got a Navy Colt. A 2000, fucking hell. An 1860, the film's set in 1865, an 1861 Navy Colt. And he goes, okay. And he's above these two guys. And he got Veriglio there with his katana under Kirk Douglas's chin. And he goes, okay, yeah. Bang! And he shoots Veriglio between the eyes. It's like, it's the deck. Sorry, I've got a bit of a tickle in the throat and a bit of a sneeze brewing as well. Oh, isn't that great? My entire head is going to go pure scanners. It's just what they are. Now, in a way, I'm kind of pissed off with that because I wanted to see Veriglio get fucking done in by Kirk Douglas and really fucking smashed in, his head come off, because he's been the supremo cunt of the the pirate brigade, and he gets shot by his own master, his own captain. But anyway, that's kind of cool as well. You don't expect it. And then these two will have a fight. Barrels of ambergris will be and lamp oil will be thrown down again at Kirk Douglas, and the fire will break out. There's oh, that's right. Oh, sorry, I forgot about that. You've got Kirk Douglas standing there, covered in all this lamp oil, and Veriglio, before he gets shot between the eyes, smashes one of the lanterns with the torch, the candlelight on it. And he's like wafting it in front of him. Fucking it's just they're such taunting twats. And but then he gets shot, so it's over. But the whole place goes afire. So you've got this big duel between Kirk Douglas and Yul Brynner in one of these things. There it is, there, a lighthouse, and like one's higher than the other, and they're dropping these canisters, these barrels of like ambergris and fucking lamp oil, flames everywhere, and there's a grappling hook involved, and they're throwing a grappling hook at each other and like trying to hoist each other down. It could be spectacular, and it's not bad. It's not bad. Done today, there'd be a lot more to it, obviously. But going back with the Die Hard analogy, high-rise thing, bursting into flames, two protagonists against each other. Who goes over the edge? Yul Brynner goes over the edge on fire, and like on the deck below, like Hans Gruber. I know he's not on fire in Die Hard, but it's the same analogy. It's one guy fighting, well, mainly one guy, maybe a couple of allies behind the scenes, but one guy fighting guerrilla warfare against outnumbering army in an isolated environment. Like I said in Plaza, in this case it's a lighthouse and an island, and but he takes them all down one by one and then blows everything up, and then the bad guy, the main bad guy, takes a big death plunge. It is Die Hard. I never realised it until doing this video tonight. And there you go. The light at the edge of the well. Jules Verne is Die Hard. Now, it isn't. Jules Verne's version of Die Hard is Jules Verne's version of Die Hard. Jules Verne's original story, novel of this is vastly different. There's no Samantha Eggar, there's no love interest, there's no woman involved in it, and Jonathan Conway commits suicide once he realises the whole thing's over. The gig's up and all, like, that's it, I'm gonna get caught. He commits suicide. Massive anti-climax to the story. Real damp squib, to be honest. Our film ends with obviously the death plunge of Jonathan Conway, and but the whole thing is on fire. The lighthouse is on fire, but that rope that he hoisted up previously and swung him round and with the knives and all that, and giving it loads and being new twats to him, like, obviously, and punching him as he's going past and all that, and skinning his monkey, or his mate's monkey. that still sounds wrong. Skinning your mate's monkey. Where was I going with that? I forgot where I was going with that. It's still uber nasty. However you look at this movie, it's nasty. So when you look at this film on IMDb and I don't know, Wikipedia, I suppose, any reviews, you go back, and what you're going to find is that this film was, it was cut by 10 minutes. Cut by 10 minutes? Really? Okay. See this a lot now with films from like the 70s and the early 80s. Mad Max, the first Mad Max, is another case in point. Cut by 9 minutes in the UK. No, it wasn't. wasn't cut at all. They changed the dialogue because Mad Max, American distributors had a problem with Australian accents. They thought American audiences couldn't take to an Aussie accent. True, this isn't. I think people these days don't even know about this, but it's very, very well known. So the first versions of Mad Max, the original Mad Max movie, 1979, they spoke with overdubbed American accents. The film had maybe little minimal cuts, but it wasn't cut by 9 minutes anywhere in the world. You don't take 9 minutes out of a movie. You don't. Because the movie's not going to be there. We all know about the zombie movies and all the horrible fucking video nasties and all that, and like their versions that came out afterwards, cut by X amount of minutes. Yeah, well, it's not minutes. It's only seconds. It's only ever seconds. You don't take minutes out of a movie. You just don't do that. Before you point out various examples, yes, there are, but by and large, when they say this film was cut by 9 minutes, it wasn't. And The Light at the Edge of the World was reputedly cut by 10 minutes. 10 fucking minutes. 10 whole minutes. Bullshit. In the UK, the horse fall is taken out, and the nanosecond, split-second shot of Tito Garcia holding a capuchin monkey, and he has split it, and he's going, and it's pure viscera. That shot is cut. But all of these scenes were in the UK TV print. The UK DVD doesn't have that shot. It doesn't have the horse fall either, because they're illegal. That sort of thing is illegal in the UK. I've got other versions of it, so but I don't mind animal violence being taken out of a movie. Human violence, I don't give two shits about. I've done more violence to humans than I ever would do to an animal. I wouldn't hurt an animal unless I genuinely had to, if it was saving my life or the life of mine and my own. Humans, I don't give two shits about. No, seriously, I don't. I'll do whatever and enjoy it as well. But movies, this had enormous problems with censors. In America, they say that, we took out 20 minutes of it. You look at all the history of this movie. Please go and look. Wikipedia gets it a lot of it wrong, as you know. But they didn't take out X amount of minutes. What they're saying is the original version of the movie was meant to have this, that, the other was going to be in there, and they've gone distributors have gone to various cinema, BBFC, MPAA. This film's going to come out. We're going to show this. Any problems with that? And so the BBFC is the one. Back during this day, they had to see. Well, why are you going to show us what's in the script? Well, they can't allow that. There's no fucking way you're having that. Simple as that. People being flayed alive. No chance. Not going to happen. This film had, I can guarantee you, the beheading of Fernando Rey, Captain Moritz, was there. I'm going to say, touching wood, hand on heart, my Rackham hat, they filmed that. If you look at that scene, they definitely were going to film a beheading sequence there. He gets hooked, stabbed in the neck, and then the big whole bear comes down. No, it won't be in one shot, I can guarantee you that. But it's funny how then you see his corpse, head completely missing, blood all over the deck, and you got Felipe running round, who's going to get stabbed, hanging upside down and being swung from a rope. And that's fucking horrific. I absolutely guarantee you that scene was there. That head would have come off. There'd have been a shot of that head coming off. And then what's happened is well, not the Salkinds probably would have accepted it. Distributors would have gone like, you're not having that. You move that. So a lot of these cuts that people say like, 9 minutes were cut, 10 minutes were cut. These were things where like they're in the script and like, no, you're not having these. You can't do those. Simple as take them out. And then it gets, or rather, some of them get shown. No, take that out right now. But it's only like literally seconds worth of footage. But it gets lumped in with all the things which was meant to be shown. They were going to do this, they were going to do that. So you got to take it with a pinch of salt. These things were not, you were never going to see those things, and they're not out there. So don't go looking for uncut versions. The version in the UK of The Light at the Edge of the World is the full violent human version that you've got. There's no difference. All that's missing is the animal cruelty, the capuchin monkey, and the monkey hasn't been fucking done. It's a prop, obviously, but the horse fall is removed, and the shot of the monkey ripped to shreds is removed. That's all. That's it. That's it. You go anywhere. I've got Spanish versions, French version, Italian version, and the film is exactly the same. The violence that you see to human, there's nothing extra at all. Nothing. So the UK version is the entire movie. The film should be released, hopefully on Blu-ray. I'm sure it is somewhere, but I've not got it. I've only got DVD and standard definition versions of it. But a Blu-ray or a 4K would be desirable. The cinematography by I said before, Cecilio Paniagua and Henri Decay is exquisite. The day for night shooting is fucking diabolical. It's diabolical. Can't deny that. But Hammer, we all love Hammer movies. How many Hammer movies have I reviewed? And not enough. I know. And you know how much I love Hammer. But their day for night shooting was absolutely shite. But we love it because it's just part of the charm of the movies. And you could say it with this, although with this it's kind of slightly a bit more stupid because the wrecking crew go out, they extinguish the lighthouse lamp, and then they lower the ship in. But the sky's really light, and you've got like our boys are trying to like save. They can see everything. It should be pitch black, and you've got all the wreckers there with their lanterns, trying to watch, where the ship's going to crash, and you can see everything. You can see it's day for night, and it's really, really naff. One of those things. It's not. It doesn't destroy the movie. It doesn't destroy the movie at all. Folks, The Light at the Edge of the World is a dark, depraved, nasty film which was touted as being a family-friendly, action adventure with, we love him, Kirk Douglas. And they so didn't do that. They so went massively OTT with the violence. And even if you watch the film now after me, if you've not seen it before, and you go like, well, you're expecting blood curdling, gore, and explicit stuff. Yeah, there's a little tiny bit of that. It's not what you genuinely see. It's the cackling, horrible attitude of the pirates themselves, of Congre's crew. They're laughing and taking the piss and taunting their victims. That is so horrible. Seriously horrible. It leaves, when I was a kid, it wasn't just like, oh my god, he got beheaded, and they just stabbed him. And and you get the shock that Will feels when he sees it in the telescope. Something else as well. I've got a real strong feeling that George Miller, who directed the Mad Max movies, of course, in Mad Max 2, when Max sees from his telescope, his old Victorian telescope as well, and he sees the good guys' buggies going out and trying to find a rig that could hold that fat tank of gas, you know. And they all come a cropper with Lord Humongous's marauders, catch them all. And you got Max watching, and he's like, you know, and he sees like the rape and murder of a woman, and he's like, argh. It's super similar to what you see with Kirk Douglas with his telescope watching his mates getting butchered. And it's like, you see him wince, and like he runs away, and like he looks back and sees more. It's exactly the same sort of thing. George Miller got that from The Light at the Edge of the World. I'm just saying, but it's very, if you watch it, it's super similar. Yeah. Yul Brynner is he's pretty nasty in this movie, without a doubt. He's super sinister. Apart from The Magnificent Seven, where he plays a guy called Chris Adams, and of course my real name is it's Kilt-Man, but no, my real name is Chris, and Chris is such a name that's not that common. I could tell you stories about like the cask where I frequent. There's about 8 people called Chris in there, but that's only in recent years, and it's become I'm sure I've mentioned it before, to be honest. Loads of Chris's have congregated there. Tons of Chris's. It's like a big Chris frenzy. It's horrible. I don't like it at all. In school, only Chris. Office, only Chris. Marines, the only Chris. Everything I've ever done, the only Chris. Until going to the pub, Chris, oh, he's cooked it. Like, fucking, sorry about Chris. John's the most obvious name, or Dave. But no, Chris is the more obvious, more common than any of them. So when I saw Magnificent Seven, when I was a kid, and it was like Chris Adams, I was like, he's got my bloody name. Isn't that great? And he's super cool. He dresses in black and he's a good guy. And then what was brilliant was that Yul Brynner then spun it on its fucking head in Westworld, wears the same costume. He plays the same guy, but he's a fucking robot in Westworld who goes renegade, proto-Terminator. Very similar to what, you know, James Cameron would come out with Terminator. And he's bloody terrifying. A remorseless bastard, you know, dressed in black. But he was the good guy. Yul Brynner is better as a bad guy than a good guy. And he's wonderful as Chris Adams in Magnificent Seven. You warm to him. But I tell you what, he can be a fucking terrifying twat. Westworld and this. The Ultimate Warrior, he's a good guy in that, but he kind of is he? At the same time? I don't know. The films of the 70s really changed everything. 60s, you gotta say 60s. George Romero, Sam Peckinpah, everything changed in the 60s. Comedy, horror, sci-fi, action movies. Everything was more explicit, whether it be like literally viscerally, graphically in front of you, gore-wise, or things that are saying swear words, you know, sexual antics. Everything was more explicit. Everything changed. The late 60s and the 70s really cemented all that. But the early 70s were like, you know, really like anything goes. We can do this. So you got this meant to be a family-friendly movie. That's how it was billed. And like when they looked at it, they went, this is meant to be a family-friendly movie. So you had numerous distributors, Spanish, French, German, who all had a hand in making the production of the movie. And they were like, how the hell are we going to do this? This film's... And it flopped big time. It flopped. It got good reviews, but it flopped big time. Kurt Russell. He could do this movie. A remake of this, Kurt Russell as Will Denton. Oh my god. Or even shock horror, Kurt Russell as Jonathan Congreve. Because Kurt Russell could wear the facial furniture. Oh my god. Kurt Russell could do this as the bad guy. Sorry, I'm creating my own fantasy version of a remake of this. And a remake of this movie, not the book. Because I think having Samantha Eggar, having the woman in there as well is interesting. Because they don't use it as... She's meant to be a sexual device. And that's how she ends up, most horrifically. But she's not the love interest, doesn't get saved by our hero. And that's really anarchic when you think about it. He tries to save her, and then she spurns him. Well, what are you saving me for? A cave? What? And then wait for months for a rescue ship? I'm better off here. Well, okay, well, fuck you then, you know. It's quite forward thinking and quite avant-garde in its attitudes. Anyway, do try and watch this movie. It is on YouTube. I think it's on YouTube. I think it is. Actually, I'm not sure. I've got multiple versions of it. As I say, the UK version is cut for possibly the right reasons, and the actual cut with the horse chip doesn't make a lot of sense. No, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all. But you've got to temper that. Would you rather see a horse in pain and agony for the sake of a story? Would you rather see that? Or like, well, what happened there? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't make one bit of difference to the sequence itself. It genuinely doesn't. Whereas I would say in the likes of Conan the Barbarian, albeit reluctantly, I don't like the horse falls, but it makes a mock. The sequence doesn't make any sense. The UK version, I don't watch that version anyway, but I've seen it, and it makes no narrative sense at all. The action's incoherent because they cut way too much out of it. But anyway, this is what it is. Make it with no minds, you know. But The Light at the Edge of the World. It's a great title. It's a great concept. It's got great stars, you know. And it's blood-curdlingly nasty. Might not be massively graphic, but that head, I guarantee you, that head comes off, and you're gonna see it as well. Cause it's just the way it's done, you know. And then we see the headless body and just the deck awash with gore, really bright crimson gore. But where's the head? I reckon the head's been held. Someone's held the head up. I reckon that they've done that. I've got no basis for that, but I can see that being the case. Anyway, right, I want a cup of tea now. I've drunk enough whiskey. If you can get the score, I got the score. Well, on the CD, it's there. Yeah, there's the sleeve. There's the actual CD itself, and it's playing right now. Piero Piccioni. It's a lovely lyrical score, but it's got like nice sort of doom-laden moments as well. Right, folks, I think I've covered it all. I think I have, anyway. Let's check my notes. Me noties. I'm not sure what director Kevin Billington went on to after this, because he's not. Let's face it. Do you know him, Kevin Billington? But he did a good job of this. A great job of this. I did not write down his previous credits and what he did afterwards, but a lot of TV work. So he got a career. He may run afoul of this though. You may have run afoul of like producers Ilya and Alexander Solkind, and obviously censorious debates. We can't show this. These things were taken out before, and they were never going to be there. So 10 minutes of cuts, 9 minutes of cuts. No one cut anything like that out of this movie. Those things were never in there to begin with. They were told not to put them in. That's the way it works. Yeah. I've got to be up early in the morning, so I'm gonna go because I'm out in the River Mersey. I'm gonna put a fake lighthouse. And we're gonna wreck some cruise ships. Oh yes, if you please. You're gonna wreck some cruise ships. You're gonna sink them on the rocks by foot per truck. We're gonna drag them in, drown them. Hey folks, I've been Shabby Kilt-Man. Please, in the meantime, it's ever like, keep it kilted, keep it fucking whatever. Fucking meantime, blah, 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 blah. I'll see you later.